Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Andy here, and Greg will be along in a moment here. He's finishing up with something, so I gotta just kill some time. I hope you're having a good day, a good week, a good start to the fall. I, for one, am super bummed that summer is over. I love the summer. I'm a summer guy. I love the warm weather. I was thinking the other day when I was driving my Jeep that it's nearing the point where I have to put the hard top back on, swap it out, the soft top, and that makes me sad. I had a lot of days this summer driving around with the top off and the doors off, and even with the blistering heat that destroyed my lawn, I thought it was amazing. And so, hope you're doing well. I want to let you know a couple things. I guess I'll do this while we're waiting for Greg. Is we had our kickoff this last weekend, and we had the block party. Again, thank you for everybody who jumped in and helped and served with the block party, helped Terry Gilsrud, and it was an awesome event, so thank you for helping put that on. Thank you to Terry Gilsrud. If you know her, make sure you send her a thank you, email, text, whatever, just let her know she's appreciated. But that meant we start all of our fall stuff this week. We had our first Wednesday night youth group, and there was about 65 students there. It was really fun. Brax and I were just jazzed about the energy in the room, and a lot of new kids, the incoming sixth graders were there, and they're starting their journey in the youth, being part of the youth program, so that was really exciting. And a lot of other kids coming. I saw a lot of kids that I didn't know, a lot of them that I hadn't seen for a while, so that's pretty cool. So Wednesday night with their youth program, that's 6 through 12, we'll be starting our Kids Quest program on Wednesday nights in early October, so make sure you stay tuned for information about that. And if you come to the church, you'll see these little flyers that tell you all about what's happening this fall. On the front side, it talks about this new series we're doing in the book of Matthew called The King and His Kingdom. And along with that, there's going to be this study guide that you can do with your small group. And so you want to make sure you pick these up and bring them to small group, and you can use that as a basis for discussion in your small group. And as well as on the weekends, we're going to be going through the book of Matthew. Like Ben, if you were here during the service, Ben mentioned that we're starting a few chapters in because we're going to save the birth of Jesus for Christmas. That makes sense, right? So pick that booklet up. You can also go to the website and download a PDF version. You can use it if your device lets you view PDFs or even edit them. That's a really easy, simple tool to use. Or you can download all the stuff and print it out at home. It's quite a hefty book, so maybe you do or don't want to do that. You can just save the paper and the ink and just grab one here next time you're in the building, or just stop by during the week. Also, Sunday mornings with our kids and our youth, we have youth high school that meets at 9 o'clock and our middle school that meets at 10:30 service. And we have our Sundays for our kids, infant through fifth grades, that are both the 9 and 10:30 hours. And then, again, Wednesday nights for the kids, second through fifth grade, that's going to begin October 6th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Want to go to the website and pre-register your child. That would help Jackie and Courtney out a lot. That way they know how many liters to get, approximately. You could still come and register that the night of, but it would do them a lot of help. And then the last thing we'll let you know is we're going to be kicking off small groups here soon. And there's a number of different small groups on just about every day of the week. There's Sunday group, there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Looks like the only day that isn't on here is Saturday. But in the atrium, there's a board there with these little postcards with all the information about who's leading it, what day it's on, if childcare is available, what kind of the routine is, if there's a meal, etc., all that stuff. So make sure you stop in the atrium when you're here on a service. You can also go to the website and find that information under small groups on our website. Our website's great. It's a great place to get all this information. It's a great place to let us know if you're joining us on a weekend, if you're not in the building. You can check in on the website and fill out a response form. You can give online. You can manage your My NRF profile and your involvement, signing up for events, signing up to serve in different areas, all that kind of stuff, right on the website. It's super easy, and I would encourage you to go check it out and peruse the website when you have a chance. I see Greg running around in the atrium, probably trying to get some coffee before he comes in. So there he is. And so I want to encourage you to grab these and encourage you to grab this book, devotional booklet. By the way, for this series that we're doing on the book of Matthew, we're breaking up into 3 smaller series. And so this is booklet number 1. And this will get you through till just about Christmas. And then he said it's dark. Yeah. I want to kind of, yeah. It is a little dark. Are you getting too old? You can't see? Is that what the deal is? Oh, on the screen it looks dark? Oh, okay. Well, that's what it is. We're in a different environment because the homeschool co-op group started today, and we got booted from the atrium. So that's not a bad thing. Yeah. Yeah, use your microphone. There he is, Mr. America.
Hello.
America.
America.
How you doing, Greg?
Good. How are you, Andy?
I'm pretty good. Why don't they have, I got a bunch of quick hitter questions right off the bat.
Great.
Yeah, it's like a quiz. You ready to be quizzed? Before you pull up Facebook, make sure you turn your volume off.
What? That's my weekly thing.
Oh, okay. That's your bit? That's your weekly bit?
It's my bit, my go-to.
Why don't they have Mrs. America, Miss America.
Mr. America, Mr. Universe is like
Mr.
a bodybuilding
Universe.
thing, right?
Yeah, that's...
It's kind of lame.
Yeah, I saw this.
But also pretty, like, how do you know that you're really Mr. Universe? Are you inviting other planets?
I don't know. They just keep it to America for the ladies.
It's like we're not going to go Mr. World.
No.
Not even Mr.
We'll
Mr.
skip
Continent,
the world.
Mr. World.
Just go to the universe.
Yeah, just go.
Yeah.
Go big time.
I think
big time
that
in 'em.
dropped off the last of the viewers that we had talking about Mr. Universe.
Either that or it's me on their screen.
A couple quick questions, Greg.
Okay.
How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Next.
Next? Okay.
No, that makes it sound like I don't want to talk about it. Huh?
Oh.
No.
You doing well?
Good. Doing well, yeah.
Yeah. Feeling good?
Feeling good.
Good. Number 2, how glad are you that your kids are back at school?
I'm good. I'm happy for them.
Are you happy for you?
Yeah. No, it's great.
Jordan's teaching
Jordan is teaching full time.
so she's
and the
done.
kids
There's nobody at home right now.
No, they all go to the same place.
Riley?
And they all, yeah.
At
They all
Heritage?
get out. Yep.
So they all go to school with
They
her
all
and come home
go-
with her.
They all are out the door
Yeah.
at about a little before 7 o'clock.
Do you feel like you owe Jordan a lot?
Like what?
I don't know.
No, it takes a team, Andy.
Okay. I wouldn't know.
No, I get up early with them. I get them breakfast. I get their lunches packed. I get them all that stuff. Jordan's getting herself ready and then gets them dressed and ready, and we kind of all get them all out the door. And
Is there disagreement with the kids about who packs a better lunch, you or Jordan?
they wouldn't know because I usually do it. And
Okay.
I don't care. I just no. No, our kids are so picky, like most kids are.
Yeah, you
But
know
they
pretty
all
well what
three
you-
want different things, and yeah, we just know what they want.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Anything else on that one?
No.
Next question.
Okay.
Next question.
Next
How do you
question.
feel about the Dodgers right now?
Pretty good. I mean, they're playing good ball.
Were there 4 games
They're-
back?
No, game and a half.
Oh, game and a half.
That's the crazy thing is like,
They were 4 games back like 3 days ago.
and the Giants just the Giants just don't lose, man.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers have had swept their last 2 series and gained a game, I think, somehow. Because the Giants in the last 10 are 9-1, and the Dodgers in the last 10 are 8-2. But still, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But both are the only 2 teams right in the playoffs that have clinched, I think.
Yep.
So
I
it's been
trailed a
good,
little bit off.
good race.
Sunday was the end of my fantasy baseball season. I got bounced by Sue Rowe.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Sue. And then also with the beginning of fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch any football this last weekend?
I watched a little bit. I saw a little bit of the Vikings Sunday afternoon. and
Were you watching?
I
You
saw
were
the
watching one
Sunday
of the
night-
night games.
I
'cause
saw Sunday night game.
you were
Most well,
texting me.
I saw some of the Sunday and Monday night games.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Monday night, I ended up like going to bed way early. I think I only watched like the first half of the Monday night game,
Okay.
and it was a really good ending.
It was a
right?
really
Yeah.
weird ending.
Yeah. Wait, what was Monday night the Raiders?
Raiders,
Yeah,
Ravens.
yeah. That was the one that was crazy. Ending.
Yeah.
So I had to watch the highlights the next
Yeah,
day. 'cause
it
I
was
like,
such
wow,
a strange ending.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking it would be funnier if the Raiders lost because they thought they won, and then there was a challenge. I mean, the refs challenge every scoring play anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So then they brought it back, and then I thought at that point it would have been hilarious if they had lost.
It would have been.
Yeah, but it was a good game.
It's always funny when the Raiders lose, Andy. No, I don't. That's,
Is it okay to say Indian summer?
I don't know. I don't know
Is
the
that
origin of that.
Cultural appropriation?
Is it
Is it okay?
Does it refer to like Native American or India the country?
I don't know.
don't
All I
either.
know is it's a term used for warmer fall,
Yeah.
like an extended summer, and I feel like today is one of those days.
Is it? Yeah, it's a beautiful
It's
day.
80s. We have our gathering tonight for the worship ministry.
Oh yeah.
So if you RSVP'd and you're going to be there, I can't wait to see
It's
you.
gonna be a beautiful night.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
What are you having to eat?
We have
Not fried
pulled
chicken.
pork. I just paid for it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, excited for that.
Dinner on Andy. All right.
But it's gonna be a warm night.
Yeah. it's gonna be
And I
nice.
was thinking the other day I was gonna have to wear like a jacket and a sweatshirt or something. But I think it'd be a great night tonight. But I don't know if it's okay to say that or not, or even if Native American summer is better or worse.
I don't know what I don't. Yeah.
Because I think it's referring to Native Americans, not
Yeah.
the country India.
I've never thought more than 2 seconds about. I've never used that term. First of all, I've heard it, but I don't. Yeah.
It's a movie too,
Yes, it is.
back
yeah.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen it?
Mm-mm. No. There's that.
The last question.
Okay.
What, in honor of somebody that our culture, society lost this last week, what is your favorite Norm Macdonald bit?
Oh man.
If you didn't know, Norm Macdonald lost his battle with cancer this last week, and he happens to be one of Greg's, I don't know, maybe top 5 favorite comedians.
Yeah.
Top 3.
Easily top 3 probably.
Top 3 favorite comedians.
Yeah.
And, when we were growing up, he's a few years older than I am, but kind of right around the same age, same time. The one big thing that Norm did was the Weekend Update on Saturday Night
Yeah.
Live. Back when Saturday Night Live was funny,
He got fired from it.
he got fired from it,
Yeah. Famously
famously.
by some NBC execs that did not like that he was making too many OJ jokes because this particular NBC exec was good friends with OJ.
Oh, no,
So there you go.
I didn't know that. So,
You
you
know
have
what-
a favorite Norm Macdonald?
I just thought of one because of something you said. Yes, I do have a few favorites. Norm Macdonald is a guy that I'm not telling you to go listen to too much because some of his stuff he can, like most or many comedians, go a little vulgar with the language. But he's also, like, if you hear like, comedians will always reference him as the best, like, or their favorite. Like, they always talk about how Norm Macdonald's just like the best. And partially because he's like fearless. Like I heard someone say yesterday, I was watching something, I don't remember if it was Conan or, I don't know. I watched a whole bunch of like tributes and stuff to him yesterday, or people posting or saying stuff about him. One of them said is like, he did not care about personal success at all. He only cared about making people laugh. And so he didn't get the fame. He didn't get like a lot of the big like shows or movies that others did because he kind of just made a mockery of all of it. Just, one example was like the NBC thing with Saturday Night Live and then getting fired. Well, then he did get a sitcom short run and then goes back to host SNL. They asked him to host like a year and a half later, and he just like kind of roasts them. But and again, this is not something I'm advocating because I don't even watch these. But like the Comedy Central roasts, you know, I've tried watching one or two because I just like stand-up comedy. I like some of the people that are on there, but it's like super over the top, just vulgar.
Well, when they're on Comedy Central, they can't swear.
Yeah, they can.
Oh, they can?
After a certain, I think after 10
After a
p.m.
certain hour.
Yeah, no, you can after
I
a
didn't
certain
know that.
time, yeah. That was changed like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. There was a law that you
Which is
yeah, 'cause it's
probably the
cable.
last time I watched Comedy Central.
Right. I know. I never watch it, but they have these roasts, right? And like I remember my dad used to watch I forgot who this is, like these old timer roasts where they'd have like Frank Sinatra and like all those old guys and they would just like roast each other. Anyway, so most of the time it's vulgar. Well, there's a clip of Norm Macdonald and it's a roast of Bob Saget, who most people knew from Full House,
Full
the dad.
House.
Squeaky clean, like image, right? Squeaky clean show. And then America's Funniest Home Videos. Remember he used to host that? Like super clean family show.
Family
All that.
Guy.
Right. So then if you go watch Bob Saget do stand-up, he's really
filthy.
dirty, filthy.
Yeah.
And it's like shocking. You know, like how is this the dad, Mr. Tanner? For like, but so anyway, it's the roast of him, and Norm Macdonald gets up, and his whole set is like intentionally bombing like these really just horrible like dad jokes, and you know, John Stamos was the host of this like roast. He goes, "Hey, John Stamos, everybody." You know, he has that kind of nasally voice. He's like, you know, they say John is really good with the ladies. You know, he's got a one-track mind, but there's not much traffic, and you know, and like just dumb dad jokes like that, and and even instead of like he didn't cuss at all, he said what the H or something like that. He said the H, and I thought that's just hilarious. And what he was doing, because Norm Macdonald is definitely uses language at times, but he was kind of like mocking the whole idea of like these roasts have become kind of a top this on who can like get more over the top
Sure.
and vulgar. And so he went like really low, like super clean. I mean, and all the comedians on stage, I think, got what he was doing and were just busting up laughing the whole time. And that was great. But one of the bit that you reminded me of, because he said he lost his battle to cancer, and he has a bit about cancer. And he says, you know, I'm no doctor, but when you die, the cancer also dies. So it's a draw. you don't lose your battle. It's a draw.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and then one of the most iconic jokes I actually used in a sermon.
The Norm Macdonald joke?
Yes, I used. I told you it was a Norm Macdonald joke after. It was the moth joke.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like the doc go to the doctor and like, what'd you come in here for? Because the light was
Because
on.
light was on.
He did that on Conan, and he like totally takes over the whole segment.
Because it took, that's his,
And
one of
this
his
thing,
things
it takes
is
forever.
long stories.
And
that
it's just
where is
this
this going?
such a weird little like punchline,
Yeah.
but
Very small payoff sometimes.
yeah. But then also,
But it's the journey.
yeah, and you think about it later, and you're like, this is also genius, and he really walked that line of like, you never knew what you're gonna get. Sometimes it was like horrible kind of dad jokes, and then something that would be really shocking, like, and everyone used to say you couldn't tell him what to do, so that cost him a lot of jobs because they would say, you know, hey, this movie, you know, we're casting and we want you to play this kind of role, and he would show up and he would just do whatever he wanted, and then they would fire him, and so anyway, but he was funny.
He wasn't
He's
in
funny.
too many movies, was he?
Not a ton. He'd have bit parts here and there. But
What
he
was
had,
that one where they would do like pranks on people?
He did Dirty Work.
Dirty Work.
Yeah,
that's
where
right.
they were like hired hitmen kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah. This is Dave Chappelle too, right? Him and Chappelle.
Was it Chappelle? Why do I want to say, yeah.
I want to. Yeah, it's man. That was a long time ago.
It was
yeah.
early night.
Mhm.
Well, Norm
I
Mcdonald.
like Norm.
Yeah. Um, anything else on Norm?
No.
No. All right. Can't wait for your next sermon to listen for a Norm Mcdonald joke.
I usually have either Norm Macdonald inspired joke or Mitch Hedberg or something like that.
Seinfeld.
Yeah. Never. I rarely use a Seinfeld joke.
You didn't do one when we actually played the Seinfeld
No.
music for your walk up?
No, I don't think I did.
That's funny.
I did. Well, one time years ago, I had a kid graduate. Like when I was still a youth minister, I had a high school. We used to interview our high schoolers and stuff, and kind of like we do here at the open house weekend. But I asked. He said he had gone skydiving or something. I'm like, so did you wear a helmet? Why? What's the purpose of wearing a helmet when you skydive? And that's a Seinfeld joke, but it's funny and it's a good question.
It is a good question. Have you ever
Yeah.
before?
No.
Skydove?
Skydiving? Dovin?
Dovid?
No, I have not. Jordan has.
Oh, okay. Did you
No.
like it?
Yeah, she did.
Would you ever do it?
I don't know. I don't like heights. But
Is it heights or you don't like
I don't like heights, but I'm okay in a
feeling
plane.
of falling?
I'm fine. I have
Or
no fear of flying at
The
all.
fear of hitting the ground really hard.
Yeah, right. That's really the fear of flights is like, no, but mine is usually like ladders.
Oh,
I don't
kind
like
of
going
that,
up ladder.
that
Yeah.
tipsy feeling.
Yeah. So, but also, if I get close to an edge, like up on a building, I get a little weird.
Woozy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know how I would do skydiving. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I would.
I'd want to train so I could jump by myself. I feel weird being strapped to the front
Yeah,
of
that's
another
kind of weird.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, like in the baby pack kind of thing. Like, yeah.
Baby
weird.
Bjorn.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is strange. You
Um,
could do the indoor thing. Asher did that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw.
The indoor thing that looked pretty cool.
Yeah, where's that?
It's in Ridgedale Mall,
Mall.
Plymouth. Right?
Wow.
Is that Plymouth or
No, it's
Minnetonka?
Minnetonka.
Yeah.
That was my stomping grounds growing up.
Mm-hmm.
They have that in
Well,
Ridgedale?
it sits outside of it. Where's that? There's like
Kind of
an
in the
Italian
corner of the parking
restaurant
lot?
over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, on the side by 394.
Yep. There used
Yeah.
to be a P.F. Chang's there years and years and years and years ago.
Okay.
And then they had some other fancy restaurant. They had another, like a event center. I remember going to a piano recital at that place. But yeah. All right. You were at youth group last night.
I was.
Are you volunteering this year? Okay.
Yeah.
Leading a small group?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing the 6th grade boys?
No.
No.
I was in with junior high school boys.
Junior high?
Yeah.
What? like
Junior. No, not
Oh,
junior
juniors.
high. Juniors in high school. High school age. 11th grade.
How many were there? I don't imagine there were a ton of them.
7?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Plus Micah Cruz has, I think, been with that group of guys for a while.
with
I was
them?
just kind of in there, yeah. Yeah. Micah does great.
It was
so.
a good amount of people.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun.
I think we got counted in the check-in thing. There was 65.
Wow.
Yeah,
In attendance.
yeah, and that I think there was a few that snuck in
Mm-hmm.
that didn't get checked in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, it was a good crowd. A lot of fun.
yeah, good
Yeah, if
energy.
you got a middle school or high school age kid, get them here on Wednesdays.
Yep.
And Sunday mornings for that matter. But
Yeah.
that was good Wednesday night.
Yeah. Awesome. And
You know what's cool is, and I will say, like they got Andy leads worship for him, and I was standing in the back of the room, and I could hear a lot of kids
singing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was amazing. To hear middle school and high school kids singing like that,
Yep.
it was pretty cool. So.
Yeah, even that one song that I said you might not know the song and they, like blasted off.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you do know the
Yeah,
song.
maybe we do.
I don't
know it.
remember doing it with them a ton. Maybe one of the other people that have led worship with them have done it. It's an older song. That one's probably early 2000s. The Stand by Hillsong
Mhm.
United. And, it's not like the top of the worship charts today.
Early 2000s, huh?
Yeah.
I had no idea Hillsong was around that long.
Yeah, they've been around. There's
Yeah.
Shout to the Lord.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
okay.
Darlene Check. She was Hillsong.
Yeah.
So they have Hillsong, just Hillsong, which is like the adult church. And they
then
have
they
Hillsong United, which is like the young adult church. And then they have Hillsong Young and Free, which is kind of like
Yeah.
their high school group. Yeah. So,
Okay.
but Hillsong United started doing live albums.
Sounds like a laundry detergent. Young and Free or
Young
something.
and
I don't
Free.
know. Sounds like some kind of weird product.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see like linens on a clothesline, like flapping in the breeze, and
it's
after
weird.
being washed with Young and Free detergent.
Make you feel
Yeah.
young again.
Yeah, Hillsong, Young and Free. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Cool. Asher, have a good time?
Yeah.
You get a chance?
Yeah,
to
he's loving youth group stuff. Yeah.
It's funny. They were doing a mixer beforehand where there's people bingo, and you had to find people that fit the description that they had in these boxes. Like, find somebody who's been to Hawaii, or find somebody
Yeah.
who's a teacher, or find somebody whose name starts with the letter G, and you go around and you're supposed to meet people. But all the 6th grade boys were like just huddled together,
Yeah.
and they were just talking, not even really doing
Yeah.
the thing. But that's cool.
Well, you know what? They were like, he had like 3 buddies here from school that he's been buddies with for several years at like Rogers Elementary.
Okay.
And 2 of them he hasn't seen really at all
Oh,
summer.
okay.
And then now they're at different schools. So they just kind of immediately like kind of clamored together and yeah.
Right on.
But they weren't mingling
They weren't
were-
mingling.
with the others.
Oh no, they were just they were just in their
Yeah.
own little group,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. I mean, I remember that being the case when I first got into youth group. You know, there's some people from my school that were there at youth group, and you just kind of hung around them because there's a
Yeah.
lot of giants, and you know when you're that
Mhm.
small, and it kind of became intimidating.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons we do split off. You know, so they do get their own time away from
Yeah.
the giant people.
Yeah. The Giants.
I went through a few of the announcements already. I talked about small groups and the booklet. Anything else that you can think of? What's going on? What else is going on here at Northridge?
Did you talk about the block party at all? That was fun.
Yeah, I just thanked people
Yeah.
who served and jumped in. Even at the last second, they jumped in, and
Yep.
thanked Terry Gilsrud and
Mm-hmm.
anybody that donated items. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool like donated prizes, and then a lot of people did like a lot of work going up, like leading up to it, like making games and putting stuff together. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that
Yeah.
happening.
Thanks
It's
to the
good.
band.
Yes,
Concrete Jesus.
Concrete Jesus. It was a lot of fun having that.
Yep.
Live music is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Usually a good thing.
Why are you looking at me when you
No,
say
I'm just saying. I'm just looking at you because I'm talking to you. No,
That's all right.
I
do it
said
every
always, but
I do it every
always is
weekend.
like
It can't
a-
always be good.
Yeah, you're always good, Andy.
Anything else with the block party?
Man, the
What
pork
was your favorite-
chops was good.
favorite
the pork
part about
chops were good. Favorite part? Man, that's hard because there's so much going on. But one of my favorite things was Kevin Sweet was doing the cookies, which is funny because like Sweet Martha's cookies because the state fair thing. I was like, you had to work at this booth, didn't you? And he smiled. He's like, yep.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
But that's a very like, what do you say? That's a deep cut. Is that what you say? That's like for a favorite thing. That's a very specific thing. I think my favorite thing is
works.
just like
Very specific thing.
the crowd. Like there were a lot of people here. It was unexpectedly well attended. I don't know if I said that the right way. Like we know there's going to be people, but
Yeah.
I think just given the way COVID's gone this summer and how it's kind of ramped back up, and then I just thought we didn't expect that big of a crowd, and it was a really good crowd, and I thought that was really cool. The food was great. Pork chops were awesome. I don't know. It was just cool. People were having a good time, and that to me is like, there's always an event like that for me. There's always a moment I just kind of like stop and just see everybody just having a good time, and
Yeah.
that's my favorite part. Is
Yeah.
like people are just having a good time.
Yeah, I think the way the summer ended here at Northridge, it made me cautiously optimistic about
Yeah.
things, but unsure what it'll actually, like even that morning. Well, I got here right at about 11. Even right at 11, people were starting to come, and there was this momentary feeling of this is kind of what it'll be. There's plenty of room for people to just spread out. There's a lot of stuff to do it, but it'll kind of be kind of this not slow, but just kind of more paced out thing. And then all of a sudden, people just kept coming and coming and coming, and all the tables were full under the tent. Did we run out? I don't think we ran out any food, but
Yeah, I don't know that we ran out.
Did they really literally give free donuts until 2:00 or whatever it was?
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever
How many did you eat?
half a bag.
Half a bag.
Yeah.
I kept getting offered
know.
donuts, and I'm like, I don't.
I'm honest. I'm not a huge donut
I didn't
guy.
eat a single donut.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You did tell me that. They were good, man. Many donuts always smell so good.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I'll eat like 2 or 3. And
I
then
think it's
like,
more the cinnamon than
Yeah, the cinnamon is
the
just
smell along
It's
with
an
fried
aromatic.
dough.
It's an aromatic.
Fried dough is
Yeah.
always good.
I've never been a huge donut guy, but I mean, I'll have a donut, here and there. But like, I'm not one that wakes up and thinks I gotta go buy some donuts, or like I'm
Well,
gonna
that's
stop
what
by
I
and get a
was
dozen
Sunday
donuts.
morning the next day.
Probably because you didn't get.
I
any.
woke up Sunday morning
Yeah.
and stopped at Cub before I got to church.
Oh
here
yeah.
and got a couple
Yeah.
donuts.
Cub has good donuts. I like the chocolate at Cub on their donuts. You're not a big chocolate fan, but
Well, I usually get one chocolate, just the raised,
yeah,
so it's kind
Yep.
of airy in the inside with chocolate with
Mhm.
sprinkles on it.
yeah.
And then I usually get either like an old-fashioned cake donut, or a sugared one.
Not a fritter guy, apple fritter.
And no filling.
I like apple fritters.
I don't like filling stuff.
Not necessarily filling.
Wasn't the
Sometimes you
fritter?
get tiny little bites of apple in there,
Yeah,
but
that
it's
would be
more.
worse because you're not don't know when to expect it.
But an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
There's not a full apple in a fritter,
I know, and you shouldn't combine it with a donut.
and I don't know if that's true.
I don't either. But
We should ask Chris.
We should ask Dr. Stewart.
Yes,
So maybe he'd prescribe you an apple a day.
that'd be easy.
But
Still costs the same to see him though.
Yeah, you copay for an apple. And then he'd scribble it on a piece of paper, and you wouldn't be able to read it.
That's right.
So, when Jordan and I first got married, we lived in an apartment, and we were next door to like a little shopping center, and there was a donut shop there. And every night at about 11:30 at night, all of a sudden this unbelievable smell would like come wafting over the block wall into our apartment complex and like into our apartment. And it always smelled so good. Like they were just getting the fryers going and getting everything ready
The next day.
for the next day. And I'm always like, oh, it smells amazing. But then I've never even then I would very rarely like go over and get a donut. So anyway.
Do you have a favorite smell? Coffee.
I mean, I like the smell of coffee, but I don't know. That's weird. I've never thought about that. Do you?
I don't know. I just thought to ask it. I'm just the host. I just ask questions. You talk.
I will have to think about that. I
All
don't
right,
know.
folks. What's your
there's-
favorite smell?
There's smells I like.
Put it in the comments section.
You know what I like? I like the smell of corn tortillas being cooked in oil.
Oil.
Yeah, that's a good smell. As soon as you start cooking with like
Garlic and butter.
yeah,
I made
garlic and butter,
Hawaiian
yeah.
garlic shrimp the other day,
yeah,
and
That's probably good.
The smell was just. I felt bad for the dogs because it lingers around for like
yeah.
another day, and they have to just sit there.
What
Yeah.
makes it Hawaiian?
I don't know.
Spam?
So when
Put
there's no spam in there. So when I go to the island of Oahu,
Pineapple.
there's no pineapple in there either.
This is not Hawaiian.
There's shrimp. Shrimp is ocean.
Yeah, that's
Um,
shrimp don't live on Hawaii. They live under and around Hawaii.
well, some of the islands actually are sunken.
I know.
And
I just
so-
saw this like. Have you seen this like drawing of what the Hawaiian Islands actually look like?
Yeah,
like
especially Maui and Lanai.
yeah,
It's like this valley.
right.
Yep.
But then there's like I don't know, like 10 or 15 other islands still underwater. Like
Yep. And then there's another one being kind of created right now.
Yeah.
It keeps pushing up and further up. It'll probably not in our lifetime be habitable, but
How fast is that thing being created?
I don't know.
Is it all the lava that's flowing off into the? You know how it flows off into the water?
Well, I think it's
Where's it
part of
going?
it, but also it's the underwater
Yeah.
lava spills that are pushing up
Yeah.
the landmass from underneath. But it's
You
really
could not have two guys like this, like destroy geology. Is this geology?
Yeah, we should have Christine Johnson.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. There's like stuff under the water and pushing and
So when I go to
lava.
Oahu, Giovanni's Shrimp Trucks.
Yeah.
I believe it's the number one
It sounds
rated
Italian to me.
shrimp
Sounds Italian. I mean,
shrimp truck on the island. There's 2 of them.
have ratings. Number one.
I
There's
think
only
that-
2, and that's number 1.
No, they have 2 Giovanni's. There's shrimp.
Okay.
There's shrimp trucks
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over the place.
Yeah.
But Giovanni's in particular is the number one rated on the island, and it's so I got the recipe, and it's you use shrimp. You know, you can just get the easy peel, which is about I like the 16 to 24 size, and keep the shell on
That means like 16 to 24 in a pound,
in
right?
a bag. Yeah, in a
Per pound, yeah.
Yep. So they're a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
They're not the
They're like the
cocktail size.
medium-ish.
Yep. They're not the giant mega shrimp, but they're
Yeah.
probably
Mega shrimp is a good oxymoron.
So you make your garlic, you dice up the garlic, and fry it up in a pan with a half a stick of butter. So that's your garlic
I like where this is going.
stuff, and then you set that aside.
You could put anything else next, and it's gonna be good.
Well, it's rice flour mixed with paprika, some cayenne, and some salt, and that's your batter.
Okay.
And so you dry out the shrimp, put the batter on, and then in a pan with oil, I usually use olive oil, you fry up the shrimp for about 3.5 minutes aside, 4 minutes aside, depending on how well you like to cook. And then you dump the garlic butter sauce on top of it all. And then you serve that on white rice. If I can do this, anybody can do this. If you want the recipe, it is absolutely delicious.
Yeah. I think you should do this for Saturday supper.
I'm not cooking that much shrimp.
Yeah, I think you should.
But I think for Giovanni's, what they do is they marinate the shrimp in that sauce with the garlic butter,
Yeah.
with the paprika, all the spices. They put it in those plastic tubs overnight,
Yeah.
and they just marinate
Yeah.
that stuff. They just pull the shrimp out, throw it on the fryer. But
Sounds
man,
good.
when you're in Hawaii and it's a little on the warm side, and you got this hot shrimp with white rice, and you're sitting on a picnic bench. Your hands are all messy because you got to peel that stuff
Yeah.
off. Oh, it's
Yeah.
fantastic,
It sounds good.
and you might have a chance to do that with me.
Maybe.
Maybe.
When we were in Oregon a couple weeks ago, my niece's wedding, they have, as you would imagine, they have a lot of these in the Portland area, but they have like these food truck. I don't even know what you call it. It was kind of. It was more permanent, like they were food truck, like trailers. So they
Sure.
were kind of like stationary, but it
Like
was a
food truck
central spot.
lots.
Yeah, but it was like someone intentionally made this way. So there was this cool like patio covered, bunch of seating in there, and then it was just surrounded around the perimeter with like I don't know, probably 12, 15 food trucks, and many of these were restaurants that went under during COVID, and so they like just went to like they would have 1 or 2 food trucks. They would have like this trailer at this type of place. But it was pretty cool. And I mean, it was a great place to hang out because you could say, hey, yeah, let's meet down here. I think it was called Happy Valley Station. And, there's a type of food for anybody. And it was inexpensive. Often food trucks are kind of pricey, but it was pretty inexpensive. And, and then it was just a cool environment, like really cool place to hang out. Like if I lived there, I would go there multiple times a week just to like hang out with people,
yeah,
just to,
the vibe.
yeah.
I like how a lot of food trucks keep the prices rounded off, so you don't have to worry about change and all that stuff.
Yeah, what a hassle. I hate change.
All right.
It's windy today.
What's that?
It's windy.
Yeah, those pressure flaps in the
Yeah.
worship center are going nuts. Any other Northridge news that you can think of? We talked about the block party, Wednesday night
Yeah.
start in small groups, the new series, the
small group.
booklets. Kickoff launch for Cities Cop Church is coming up. If you want more,
October 3rd.
yeah. If you want more news on that,
Mm-hmm.
you can go to their website, Cities Cop Church. Man, I can't think of anything else right now.
You're content?
I am content. Are you content?
You wanted to talk about contentment?
Oh, maybe. I want to talk about
Is that
something.
a bigger thing?
That's probably a different thing.
Okay.
We can't do both of these because don't want to go on too much longer here. But I do want to talk about something that you've
Oh,
been interested and passionate about for a couple years now. In fact, I remember you doing one of these things right before a sermon that you did, and you incorporated
Yeah.
it into your sermon, and that was one of those genetic tests, DNA. I don't know which one it was. You'll have to tell me. And there's a number of different ones, and they all do different things.
yeah.
There's Ancestry. There's 23andMe, is that what it's
Mhm.
called? What other ones are there?
Family tree,
Family
DNA.
tree. But
Those are the biggest.
they do some of the
Yeah.
different. They do different things. Like
Mhm.
they reveal different things,
Yeah.
don't they? Like 23andMe that's not necessarily a origin story thing, is it?
Yeah,
Or
well,
is it
they have
more
that.
of a DNA.
I think a lot of them started there with like ethnic origin type of thing, and then also finding either ethnic origin and then like finding matches, like people in our database that you're related to, and maybe finding long lost relatives and that type of thing. But many of them have branched out into other things that you could determine through DNA. So, like a lot of them have. One thing I've been seeing promoted a lot recently is like food sensitivity stuff. Like you can maybe see like what foods your body might be sensitive to, or I don't know how any of that works. I did it for the two main reasons would be like ethnic background was always kind of a mystery on both sides of my family. My dad knew little. My mom didn't know much at all, having never known her dad. And then her mother had very traumatic, very different background, upbringing. So my mom didn't know much. So it was kind of like, for me, like the reports you're supposed to do in school of like your family tree reports and stuff was always frustrating. We didn't know much. And then, I have people ask me like, what are you? Like here? It was weird. That never happened until I moved to Minnesota. And people,
Because in California, you just assumed you're a mix of all sorts of things.
or just, I don't know, I just wasn't. No, in California, I grew up in predominantly Mexican community, and I was just a white guy. Like, I was just a white boy. So, which is, also true. But no, when I moved here, it was like, what? I got that question a lot. I don't know why, but, and then I kind of joked that it was, people wanted to know which side I'm taking, Swede or Norwegian, like which side I'm going to be on,
Why is that so? People,
It's just funny. I don't know.
Cool.
But what's hilarious is like people who think that, oh yeah, we're Swedes, like, do family DNA. I bet there's a little Norwegian in there somewhere. Some great grandparents got a secret. But no, that was my main motive was, and I also it's just interesting to me. Like, I've always been interested in, I guess, more like, what is that, anthropology or sociology or whatever it is, like people groups and stuff like that. So, and not knowing much about my own, I always thought that's kind of weird. So it's always been interesting. So yeah, I did family tree DNA, I don't know, 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
and that's what gave the breakdown of the different.
That gave like
ethnicities.
ethnicity, yeah. And so, and some matches. And through that, we found and came in contact with my dad's second cousin, who actually lived here in Minnesota in Egan, which was crazy. It's like he lives half an hour away,
Originally from out west.
They were from Kansas City. My dad's family's from Kansas City, and my dad and he was 2 years younger than my dad, I think, and they kind of remembered each other from as being kids, being at like family stuff. But it's like here they are. They were both like, I think my dad was right around 80 then, and so it's just crazy that now they could meet and chat. And then this past year I did Ancestry.com. Ancestry has a much bigger database of users, so to look for people that you might be related to, I think Ancestry and 23andMe both have a really big database. Ancestry also has like tons of resources that are there at your disposal for like public records. So you could see like, hey, this is my great grandfather's, this is his war, documents, or this is my, my grandpa's draft card, or whatever it is, or in my case, this is my great grandfather's prison record, which is one thing that I'm looking into that I haven't found like a lot of detail on because
They're still closed.
National Archives is closed still. Yeah, so
It's crazy.
but yeah, so through that one, we found my mom. My mom's never knew her dad, and never knew anything about her dad really. But through Ancestry, I came up with a match with a name that we had never seen before, and he was a closer match to me than even my first cousin, who was also on there, and yeah, he's 2 years younger or a year and a half younger than my mom, and immediately I'm like, oh my goodness, because he came up as a potential first cousin. There's a long list of potential relationships based on the amount of DNA, match, but one of them was half uncle. I was like, no way. And so, made contacts, had some emails, and then a phone conversation, and it turns out it's my mom's half brother. And so he had met their dad in the early 90s because he had the same type of deal. He grew up not knowing their real father. He grew up with a stepdad who, in his late teenage years, he found out wasn't his real dad. And then somehow, I forgot exactly how, but somehow tracked down and made contact with their actual biological father and was able to make contact and spent like a day or, a couple different times, got to spend a little bit of time with them, and then
And this
he
would have been
passed
your
away.
mom's brother.
My
Or
mom's
dad.
dad, yeah, biological dad. And so so it's been very cool. My mom and
she
he
adopted your mom?
no,
Okay.
no,
It's
but
just
she
Dad skipped town, raised by your mom, or
Mhm.
your grandma.
Yeah, raised by her mom and a stepdad who my mom always thought she was adopted, and because I guess her stepdad treated her drastically different than her younger sister, who was 2 years younger, and always wondered why. And so when she was 18, my grandmother told her that that's not your dad, it's, so yeah, so it's cool. My mom's gotten to fill in a few gaps. She actually got to go meet her brother,
Half brother.
yeah, earlier this early summer,
How did that go?
June. Great. Like, he's a great guy. He's good. Like, his wife's the sweetest lady, and they live in the same town like my mom grew up in still. It's a suburb of LA, and they still live there. That's crazy. They grew up across town from each other.
It's weird.
Different school. Well, my mom she lived in that town for like first half of her life, and then they moved to, this is Norwalk, California. Then they moved to Bakersfield. My mom went to middle school and high school in Bakersfield, and then they moved back to Norwalk. So, but yeah, grew up kind of in the same area and never knew each other, nothing. So it's kind of crazy.
Do you have your breakdown of your DNA chart there?
Yeah.
I'd love to just share
I
that.
do.
And I was thinking about doing one of the tests just because I'm
should do it.
curious.
Aren't you German?
Yeah, German, Korean, Hawaiian. I'm just kidding.
You can't adopt
I was
like.
born in South Korea.
Are you sure?
but-
Not North?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I know. I just
See, one would assume that, but who knows? Maybe I'm, long lost relative of Genghis Khan. Who knows?
it's possible. I think he has a lot of relatives, doesn't he?
That's why there's a chance.
Like 10% of
the world.
like it's a high number in the Asian continent.
So I think it'd be
has
interesting to do the test and then
DNA.
talk about it more. But why don't you share your breakdown?
Why?
And-
You want to know what I am?
Well, I
Well, these are
remember
matches.
the only one I remember is African.
Yeah, 10%
10%
Nigerian, West
Nigerian.
African.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scotland,
Scotland.
36%. That's my
Wow.
highest,
So you're predominantly
I
Scottish.
guess. Yeah.
Not just a wee bit of Scotland.
Go William Wallace. Hooray. What's he saying?
Freedom.
Yeah, or whatever. I tried to do the worst possible thing for.
You ever
Um,
seen Braveheart?
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw it.
What would that be on your top favorite movies? 20?
I don't know. You know what? I saw it late. I didn't see it until like probably 10 years ago.
Oh, you never? What?
Yeah, serious. Mm-hmm. No, it was longer than 10 years ago.
Oh, I was gonna
Maybe
say.
15.
Well, that's still.
Yeah, I remember my friends like saying, "You never saw Braveheart?" I was like, "Yeah, I got."
So you never saw it in the theater?
No.
Oh man, that's a theater event.
34% England, northwestern Europe.
Oh, a spot with tea.
So that could be,
So,
as they said, Ted Lasso. So there's 4 countries in this country. Yeah, sometimes it could be anywhere in the UK. I mean, it could be England, Wales, right? Anyway, how do I go back? There you go. I got 12% Swede.
Ah.
So that's where that goes. That's the only thing the Minnesotans want to know.
yeah.
Where like, hey man, stuff goes down. Whose side are you on? The Swedes?
Like
The
Swedish
Norwegians?
meatballs?
Sure.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Which one likes lutefisk?
That would be Norwegian.
Okay. Yeah, I've never
That's
tried that.
Question.
Have you ever tried that?
Lutefisk?
Yeah.
I want to say I have.
I feel like you would know,
Well, I want to say it was years ago at my
Yeah.
Uncle Keith's house.
probably. I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's soaked in poison, right? Lye.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. 10% Nigeria.
It's like the Norwegian version of kimchi, which is Korean.
Yeah, but
That's
cabbage.
aged cabbage.
It's like fermented cabbage,
Yes,
right? But
it's
I feel
disgusting.
like lutefisk is way worse than kimchi.
Have you had kimchi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Don't
anyway.
knock it till you try it, I guess.
Yeah. 4% Irish.
Ah,
Oh, they classify Wales as something different.
something different than England
Yeah.
and Northwestern Europe.
Well, England and Northwestern Europe, it's weird they combine that. So that's the Netherlands,
So Wales is
Belgium,
on the-
Luxembourg,
On the far
Switzerland.
left.
Yeah, Wales is out here.
Wonder why they're so different.
Yeah. But we've kind of like, just for the sake of fun, like me and then my oldest sister, Christy, I think we are more into this than my other 2 sisters. Like we just kind of a little bit more, but all 4 of us, we've kind of like for fun just gone with the Scottish thing and a little bit more like for Christmas we got my dad these things you could buy online where you could become a lord by purchasing a small piece of land.
That's funny.
It's just novelty kind of gift, but it's kind of comes with this cool certificate, and so he's now like a Scottish lord.
It's like buying a share of the Green Bay
Yeah.
Packers,
Yeah, I guess only cooler than that.
especially after this last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of went down a rabbit hole for a while with this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's fun. If I had a lot more time and more money, because, I mean, Ancestry has a lot of stuff. Like, you can research, you could just research a lot of your family history, things like that. Oh, I did do this extra thing for $20 for traits. Like, they tell you with your DNA, what are some common traits? And,
What was yours?
like these are some of mine, like endurance fitness. Like I have a trait that is common to endurance fitness runners, like long distance runners, like with my DNA, like there's a good like lung capacity or whatever, which I think's funny because I've always hated running long distance. Like I played sports like I would play all day long growing up, like basketball, football,
Just to
baseball.
go for a run.
But it's boring. Like
yeah.
heart rate recovery, so which
Run
is
for fun.
yeah, just lame.
Remember what that's from?
No, what's that?
Back to the Future.
Oh
3.
yeah.
They go into
Yeah.
the old cowboy bar.
Yeah.
You run for
For
fun?
Heart rate recovery, muscle fatigue, like where like muscles recover quick, which
That your
yeah.
predisposition.
Yeah,
to
always
muscle
just my muscles are always tired. Yeah. VO2 max. Oh, that's
what
the
is
one.
that?
That's the one where like lung capacity thing where it's common in like endurance athletes.
Oh, okay.
Beta carotene, I guess I process that well or something. I don't know.
Process
Have
it or you make it?
B12.
Can you make beta carotene?
I don't know. I don't have
That's
the
weird.
recipe. So I don't know. Vitamin C. I don't know what all this stuff is.
Well, it's worth the
I know.
$10, huh?
That's what you sound like my wife. Oh, here's the one so the asparagus metabolite
What does that mean?
detection.
Detection?
So there are some people, Andy, that after you eat asparagus, there is a certain side effect.
Yeah,
that,
you
the
go
pee
in the bathroom.
smells.
Yeah,
It's your pee smells funny.
yeah.
And or bitter sensitivity, which I don't have. Like,
So is this
or maybe I
saying
do
that
have-
you
maybe I
block
do
that
have.
out?
But look at this, my favorite one: caffeine consumption. Like my people with my DNA have. Based on your DNA, we think you might be a moderate caffeine drinker. Yeah,
Moderate.
yeah. It's funny how like DNA was part of my or
Sun
caffeine's part-
sneezing?
Yes. So I do not have sun sneezing. This is a thing that the rest of my family has. Jordan and all 3 of my kids sneeze
Anytime
when the
they-
sun hits their face.
Oh.
It's hilarious. I laugh. We pull up somewhere in the car, in the van.
They all sneeze?
We all get out. If it's a bright sunny day, they all sneeze. Jordan and Asher are the worst. Asher will sneeze like 5 times in a row.
Hmm.
It's hilarious. They all get mad that they do it, but yeah, sun sneezing is a thing. I don't know. It's weird. Lactose intolerance, I don't have, but so these are all things they test for.
I
Like
wish I didn't.
you probably do not have trouble with dairy. Yeah, I kind of wish I did because I eat way too much ice cream.
I think most. Is there a higher percentage of people that are lactose in the world than aren't?
I don't know,
'Cause I think
but
a lot of Asian
Asian-
people are, and there's
yeah.
a lot of Asian people in this world.
so you say that would throw off the percentages or something.
No, it just accounts for a larger
Yeah.
percentage of people,
But
wouldn't it?
I wonder if there's other. Well, there's got to be other like ethnic groups that are largely like whether it's lactose intolerant or whatever. Like the other one, cilantro aversion. You know what cilantro aversion is?
Aversion?
Yeah.
No.
Some people have a gene that when they eat cilantro, it tastes like soap.
Ooh,
Yeah.
gross.
And that's tragic.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Cilantro is good, but that's why so many people. That's why cilantro is like a polarizing thing. People either love it or hate it.
Oh,
And
that's
the people
so-
that hate it, they say it's gross. Well,
so
because it
weird.
tastes like soap to them. It's an actual DNA trait. Savory, like the umami sensitivity.
Umami.
Yeah, like a savory taste, umami taste bud. The savory.
Well, isn't umami
sense.
like a food?
Yeah, but it comes from
Actually, isn't that?
like it's kind of
Oh, that's not right. I was thinking of ugani. No. There's a sushi.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
what that
got
is?
that name.
Umami.
It's the same name, I think.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the same.
It's like sea urchin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Umani. That's an N, right? Umani?
I don't think that's it.
Oh, anyway. Some people are very sensitive to savory, like umami flavor profile. I am not. I don't know. Sweet sensitivity. That's probably you. You don't like sweets. Even though we had a donut conversation. Probably more sensitive to sweets.
Oh, it's just
Interesting.
uni. Never mind.
Anyway.
I drink a lot of this,
Yeah, you do.
which is probably why I don't care for sweets other
Yeah,
places.
because your body's like, no more.
I've had enough.
Yeah. What's
All right. Well, Is it expensive?
I don't know. They're usually around $100
Like the
for a
DNA test?
test, but if you look at on like Black Friday, they usually have big deals, or like around that time.
Sure.
Like I did Ancestry. I got it for it was like $50. It was half.
Okay.
Um,
If I were to only
Which-
just do one, and I wanted the breakdown of my ethnicity background.
Now I've never done 23andMe. I know people that have, but I would say just from my experience, because of the tools and things that are accessible there, I would say if you're only going to do one thing, do Ancestry, just because it's a large database too of people that you're going to come up with like potential matches. Now the thing is like,
See, I really don't care necessarily about that.
right, but they're all going to have that,
Yeah.
you know.
People always ask me, do you know anything about your biological family? And I was part of that 70s wave of Dropbox babies in South Korea. They actually made a documentary.
Dropbox babies.
Yeah, where they had these drop boxes around the city, and the people could. This Christian Korean pastor made these boxes because otherwise babies would just be left
Yeah.
abandoned, you know, in the garbage, in the
Yeah.
sewage, all that stuff. So he made these boxes that he placed around the city that people
Okay.
could anonymously
Yeah,
put their
like
baby
we
in
could
there.
do at like fire stations
Yep,
now or
and
something.
then the
yeah.
baby would be taken to social services.
Yeah.
And so that was
There's a
one of
big
those.
wave of that.
Yeah, that
in
was
the
a big thing in the
70s?
70s.
Hmm.
Because I think he did that in early 70s. And then they reformed some of the laws and all that kind of stuff, and there was no need for that anymore.
Do you know why there was such a big wave
I
then?
don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't, yeah. I think South Korea was fairly not as obviously not as developed as they are now. And I think they hit a huge growth spurt in the 90s, in the late 80s and the 90s. But I imagine there's still a lot of poor people and trying to bring a baby into the.
Yeah.
And I think babies that were born out of wedlock was a dishonor to the family.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of shame related to it. And so to be able to get rid of that problem
Mm-hmm.
easily, and they didn't have to deal with the guilt of killing the baby. They bring it to the
Yeah.
box knowing that it'll be brought to a safe
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
But I was pretty severely, malnutrition when I got here to the United States. In fact, my mom's friend, she's a nurse, she lived down the street. The day that they brought me home, she told my mom I'd be surprised if he made it through the night.
Wow.
Like, how do you say that to your
Yeah.
good friend who
Yeah.
just brought their new baby home? And
That's a little harsh.
Yeah. I remember my mom told me that when I was probably in high school. And so at my graduation, she was there at my graduation party. And I don't think
Yeah.
she remembers even saying that.
Yeah.
But I remember saying, hey, so how am I doing? But people always ask me, you know, somebody was asking me the other day, you know, what do you know about? I'm like, I don't know anything, you know.
How old were you?
5 months
5 months when
Yes,
you got
when I was
adopted.
adopted.
Okay.
So I have no knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I got my Korean name. Maybe they left information. Heidi Foy is
Yeah.
one of our overseer team members, but she's also the mother of multiple adopted children.
Yeah.
And
Done a lot of work in that area. Too.
yeah, and she actually worked at a adoption agency. She gave me a few books. One was a book of letters from Korean moms to the kids that they gave away, and just reading. I didn't read it all the way full through. I just kind of thumbed through.
Yeah.
And they're writing these letters. They never expected them to be delivered to their, you know, because there's so many unconnected
Yeah.
things to even know who it is and how to get it there. And but it was kind of touching to read these letters and to realize that these moms were in pain.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't really want to do this, but they felt like it was the only choice they had. I have no hard feelings towards my biological parents or mom or whoever. I mean, obviously there's a mom and a dad, but
Yeah.
whatever forced
Whatever the
them to have to give
situation
me
was,
away and to abandon me in the drop box, you know. And I have never felt like this emptiness inside of me to try to go find anybody. I'm not going to speak for my brother, but I know he maybe struggled with it a little bit more than I did as a kid growing up. Now he's, I don't think he thinks about it at all, but
How far apart are you and your brother again?
about 2.5 years, but we're not biological.
Yeah, but
Obviously.
what I was going to ask was he from the same like orphanage or same?
No. So he was born in Seoul, and he
Okay.
was adopted out of Seoul. I was born in Busan, which is the southeast corner of the island. And so we were completely different cities, a few hundred, I don't know how.
Have you ever been to Korea?
No, actually.
Would you go? Would you want to go?
I would love to go. My brother and I always talked about going back there sometime. And there's a fella at our church here who is also adopted from Korea, a few years older than I. And him and his wife adopted a boy from Korea. And he's always wanted to take his son back to Korea. And so he had asked me if I'd ever be interested in going with. And I said, yeah, my brother and I have always talked about going. He's like, well, why don't the four of us go sometime?
Yeah.
And so we're actually looking at 2024.
Oh, wow.
No, 2023 to go. Not next year, but the year after that. And my brother and I would want to do is because this guy and his son and my brother were all born in Seoul, which is the big city. So we'd go and stay in Seoul for a week, hang out together, the three of us, or the four of us. Then my brother and I would take a train down to the southern part to Busan. There's actually this train that, just like India, a lot of the big countries, just this commuter train that goes basically up the gut of the country.
Yeah.
So we would take this commuter train all the way down to Busan, maybe stop along the way, stay overnight, just to see more of the country. Like when I was in India, we flew into Hyderabad and took a bus to Guntur, which is in the south eastern part of India, on the Andhra Pradesh region. And then at the end of our mission trip, we took a train, 32-hour train ride.
That's great.
All the way up to Delhi,
Yeah.
which is formerly New Delhi, which is where what's that palace called?
Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal,
Yeah.
thank you. I promised the kids we'd go see the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
I was on a mission trip with my youth group, so I promised the group we'd go sightseeing in Delhi. But you get to see a lot of the country. I should say the kids saw a lot of the country. I was up in my little cubbyhole sleeping the whole time. But yeah, and so we would take the train down to Busan, maybe get out, stay a night here in this little town, little village, and then keep going, and then spend a few days in Busan, which is where I was born.
Yeah.
So that way we both get a chance to see where we were born, and really,
Very cool.
that's interesting. That just seeing where we came from would be more interesting. I mean, I just don't put any energy into trying to find parents because the chances of it actually happening, unless they took this DNA test and it matches, who knows? Maybe they did.
Yeah.
I don't know the circumstances of why they, put me up for adoption, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I suppose also how does your growing up with the parents that you had play into that? Right? I mean, maybe that was filled, right?
Maybe that was what?
Filled. You know what I mean? You
Oh,
had
for
good-
sure.
good parents.
I remember reflecting after my dad's funeral service. Like I got up there, I didn't do like a reflection, like a family reflection. I just went up there. I was more of a host.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Hey, thank you for coming." My dad he was an awesome guy.
Yeah.
And that's why we're taking the time here to share stories. And you're going to hear some stories from my brother, from my niece, a friend of his, and think about how you knew him and stories that you might have, and you could share those down at the lunch afterwards. So
Mhm.
that's kind of basically all I did. But afterwards, I was kind of kicking myself that I didn't mention anything about this Minnesota white couple adopted me and my brother, treated me like we were right from them,
Mhm.
never any different. And that's the way
Yeah.
I don't know if like it's hard like just curious to maybe my mom could tell me someday, but maybe she wouldn't tell me if it if she feels something weird when my brother and I talk about going back to Korea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that would
Yeah.
hit her in a certain way.
Yeah.
I don't. The intentions is never
Right.
to hurt
Right.
them, but
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
I told her
Yeah, I
about going to Korea. In fact, this guy and his son that I was talking about going to Korea with, they were actually at my dad's funeral service. And I introduced my mom, hey, this
Yeah.
is the guy that we're trying to plan this
okay.
trip with. So, anyway, it'd be interesting.
It would be.
Um, I'm a little nervous about like full on Korean food because my experience with it so far has not been that
Yeah.
pleasant. I had a Korean friend in high school, and his parents were right from Korea. They barely spoke English. He grew up here in the United States, but made a lot of trips back to Korea. And anytime I would go over to their house, she would make food, kimchi, spicy, and it just didn't do well. And I said, "Man, I feel bad not eating it." She's like, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, "No, that's the culture, though, right? You
Yeah.
have to eat what they put."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'll just tell her not to make it as spicy next time." I'm like, "Well, like
It's
no
not the s-
kimchi,
It's not the spice.
no kimchi, please." Yeah.
Well, what about the They have Korean food down at Noodles and Company. Don't they have one
Yeah,
like
I'll go and practice before.
they have the American like Korean. What is it called there? What is? Because I almost ordered the other night. What is it?
Add noodles.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I only get the pad thai.
Oh yeah, I like their pad thai too. That's what I ended up getting.
Well, my brother's a kind of a foodie.
Yeah.
He watches a lot of shows. He's more adventurous in the food area. So I'm just gonna kind of tag along and eat with him and this.
Even though he's adventurous.
Huh?
He's adventurous though. I thought you were a little worried about.
Yeah,
think he-
but partly
You don't go like.
I'm not gonna go on my own and just order a bunch of weird stuff.
They probably
but
have
I would
McDonald's
try.
there.
I would like if my brother said you got to try this, got to try that. I would do that.
Okay.
At least somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah. They know
And-
what it is.
yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
would like it or not.
Yeah, and then I'll just have to deal with him badgering me about it all, in a good way. He's a good dad. He's a good dude. Yeah.
You're
We'll
going to try to sneak in
sneak in north.
North Korea?
You get shot.
I know. Yeah.
Man,
That's real.
there was that on Rogan a few months back. There was that woman who escaped
Mhm.
North Korea, interviewed on Joe Rogan.
That was pretty brutal.
Yeah, if you ever want to hear from a first-person
Mm.
perspective about what it's like to live in North Korea and to escape all that stuff, check out the Joe Rogan podcast. And I can't remember which one it is because her name is very Korean.
Yeah.
Pak, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Forgot her name.
We'll follow up more on the DNA thing, especially if I end up getting
Should do it.
doing
man.
one of those tests. Maybe I'll buy it for my brother for his birthday. His
You
birthday
should do it, and then I'll look at it first, and then let you know.
report it back to me on the podcast.
Yeah.
That'd
Says
be-
here you're
that'd be-
94% Norwegian.
Mexican.
Yeah.
What?
Well, there's have you ever heard these theories of like how different people groups have migrated different parts of the world? No?
No.
So,
Theories are actual facts.
well, I think they're theories documented, well studied in anthropology. I don't know if you call them facts because no one was there to see it firsthand, right? I don't know. But they think a lot of like Native American, Central America, South America, like a lot of them, the people groups that were here migrated over from Asia. So like migrated over from like across like the Bering Strait or, I mean, we're talking long ago. But
Yeah. I wonder how people got to Hawaii.
Right? It's you kind of just got lost at sea.
I know that Captain Cook, he discovered the Hawaiian Islands.
Wow.
But how did the Polynesian people
Discovered, right? Well, the Polynesian, they're just seafaring people, right? I mean, but
where do they come from? And that's like a tiny
all the
little
other islands,
blip
yeah.
in the middle of a gigantic
Right.
ocean.
They
Like,
got swept out and lost at sea.
you have
And it
to
was like,
yeah,
hey,
look at this.
look at that. Food truck selling shrimp. How do you pronounce it?
Giovanni's.
Yeah. The Italians got here somehow. Italians got here first.
All right. Well, hey, we're glad to have been back with you. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope to see you this weekend. Before we go, I got an email from Dan Munson. I think you might have all gotten this email.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
want to highlight some of the things that he's on here. He's talking about the harvest. It's harvest time, and fall is here. The fields around us are filled with the abundant harvest of golden corn, beans, and other crops. The harvest is great, but the workers are few. So pray to the Lord who is in charge of the harvest. Ask him to send more workers into this field. With the beginning of school right here and now, you have an opportunity to help a young person excel in their academic career while developing a relationship that can change a life for eternity. Pray and ask the Holy Spirit if he might call you to take part in one of the following harvest opportunities this fall. First one is Mobile Hopes Ministry in Dayton Park, offering homework help starting September 20th. For those of you who don't know, Dayton is just down the road, and they have a mobile home park, and they set up, Mobile Hope sets up a trailer there where they invite students to come in, and you can help kids with their homework. You can tutor kids. Middle school and high school students meet Monday through Thursday at 3:30 to 4:30. Elementary students meet from 4:30 to 5:15. You can just serve one day per week or several days. The training is provided to all Mobile Hope volunteers. Another opportunity is to go on a Net Lake mission trip coming up the beginning of October, the 2nd and the 3rd. So go to the website and you can sign up for that. Or you can just email Dan Munson at danm@nrf.life. And then the last one is just to get you ready for Operation Christmas Child that we're going to be kicking off in October and then wrapping that up. That just came out. In November.
Wrapping it up.
Yeah. So
don't
be on
wrap your gifts, though.
Don't wrap your gifts. There'll be boxes here for you
Box
to
it
pick
up.
up. You can go to the website, put together your own boxes, and yeah. So be on the lookout for Operation Christmas Child. And if you want more information, email them at missions@nrf.life or just catch Dan. Since he is healthy and back, you should be seeing him on the weekends again. Jackie is getting close to being all the way back, but she is around, and she was here this last weekend. She'll be here for the foreseeable future, and we hope that everybody else who got who is challenged by COVID is doing well. If you are out there and you need help, just bite the bullet. Get in touch with us. Don't worry about it. We love to help. We want to serve you, and we are here. So get in touch with us, office@nrf.life. And anything else, Greg?
Nope.
All right.
It's good.
Yeah. Hope to see you this weekend.
Yeah.
Adios.
See you later.
Goodbye. Anything else?